It's been 55 days since the release of Battlefield 6, during which time a few updates have been released. Has anything changed? Have the developers added or improved anything, or maybe screwed something up? I am Uncle Bob and I invite you to watch my additional mini review. Since the release, the first Battlefield season has begun, adding some content. I'd like to say that everything is working smoothly, but that's not true. My impressions of the gameplay on the maps mainly concern the breakthrough mode, because that's where I spend most of my time. I start with the maps available since the release. So far, they have not been balanced, except for small attempts to add a vehicle or two at the start, which only slightly powdered the problem of a few maps. Unfortunately, the Manhattan Bridge and Mirage Valley maps suffer from total imbalance, as the first points are extremely difficult to capture. In New York, it would be enough to expand the map and add the ability to run through buildings, and in Mirage, adding a few houses and stretching the front line. In the current situation, the action takes place mainly in one spot, and so on and so fucking on. Other maps also have similar problems at certain parts of the stage. Apparently something is going to be done about this in December. Maybe some guy or gal will be assigned to move the border in the editor and add a few houses. Because so far nothing like that has happened. What's worse, with the start of the new season we got two new maps. California Eastwood is still cool, it's quite wide, there are flanking opportunities and we have vehicles at our disposal. Unfortunately, the second map is Blackwell Fields, and in my opinion, it is the worst and most boring map that has been released. The first point is a section with a bit of a fence, some wrecks, a barrack and one building, all concentrated in one place. And on the other side, we have a wild field, a sniper's paradise and zero vehicles. This is not the kind of battlefield I wanted. I don't know how you can be aware of the problems with the current maps and release another one that highlights them even more. Another negative change, in my opinion, is giving engineers more ammo for their rocket launchers. Instead of 3 missiles, we now have 5. From an engineer's point of view, this is great, because I can finally destroy a tank. But from the point of view of a tank driver or pilot, it's not so great anymore, because you are under constant rocket fire, and you can't even stick your head out without getting your ass kicked. The last thing that turns me off are the skins. In the original version of this text, I was going to say that the camouflages are slowly becoming more festive, that it's not so bad yet, but the bright stripes, colors and patterns are already hurting my eyes. When I look through the store, I realize that clownishness has become the norm. It's not so noticeable on the Battlefield yet. Apparently, the Battlefield community isn't too crazy about such wacky clothes. I don't like this kind of content in a game with this theme, because it's not a carnival where you can shine with colors and painted unicorns. Also, so far I haven't noticed anyone playing as soldier with dreadlocks straight out of GTA or Saints Row, and such a skin is already available for purchase. It's as if you were visiting Grove Street. All that's left to say is, oh shit, here we go again. But I can see the positive side of these comical costumes. At least you can see these clowns from a distance and it's easier to get a few kills. I won't comment on the new RedSec mode. I don't even bother with it. Not my cup of tea. The plans for December include reworking the sounds, including the footsteps of soldiers, which are apparently too quiet and unclear. I don't know who's complaining about this, but I think they were balanced. And now they're going to get louder, because supposedly you can hear when someone is running and from which direction. When a grenade explodes overhead, I think only Godzilla would be loud enough to hear when he's moving. Apparently some people running around the map would like to have an additional echolocation feature. Personally, I think the sound is top notch. I play with 7.1 headphones and can easily tell which direction someone is running from. All you have to do is stop for a moment and listen. The visibility and clarity of opponents is also to be improved. I don't know what it will look like, but overall I'm very skeptical about these changes. I am afraid that the game will become easier, and the next step will be a huge fucking arrow above the opponent's heads. informing from afar, "I'm here, shoot here." There are problems that the developers could address first, such as the bugged ladder that can launch a player into the air, or anti-cheat security, because sometimes someone is clearly using cheats. Would I change my rating of 5 out of 5? Not for now. I still think it's a great title, one of the best FPS games to play in multiplayer. It has some issues, the maps are the most painful, but I believe that will be fixed, and after so many hours, I still feel like playing more runs in Battlefield. I also recommend you jump in and shoot around. You have fun. Be well!